And we are live and we are back. Let's go. I'm Cory, your host, one half of the Quarter Full of Fat podcast. And I'm back like I never left with another installment of Wealth Wednesdays here on the Quarter Full of Fat podcast. We discuss health and wealth, finance and fitness, and everything in between. We want to make sure you save more and save less and keep making better your best. Yes, yes. However, my co-host Jordan on paternity leave. We start these Wealth Wednesdays where I get straight to the financial information, no filler in between. And I know y'all see the topic of today's video, sort of coming off of what we were talking about last week about, the Black Friday spending, things like that. Credit cards versus buy now, pay later. Are they the same thing? Are they not the same thing? Which one is better? But before we get started, make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. I'm going to have to switch up the intro a little bit because Wealth Wednesdays will this be the last one? I know when I do the not the end of the year recap, but to talk about everything that's coming for next year as far as the tax brackets, things like that, that won't be a Wealth Wednesday episode. So we'll probably only got like one or two more of these, and I think these are going to cap out around upper 60s. Might get to episode 70. It's been a great run. Nothing is going to change as far as the content. I'm just changing the title so I can drop content more frequently and not handicap and chain myself to the day Wednesday. Shout out to Wednesday, hump day, great day. I think Wednesday is the best day of the week as far as a work week because Friday is Friday. Nobody really doing on Friday. Thursday is the day before Friday. You know what I mean? So Thursday is sort of like, Thursday is like the real Friday. And then Wednesday is like the day before Thursday. So like Wednesday is like, it's Wednesday. Like this is the day. Tuesdays suck because Tuesday is way before Friday and Thursday. And it's the day before Wednesday. And it's right after Monday. And obviously Monday, Mondays is sort of like, So really Tuesday is the only like true work day of the week. Not that you're saying you don't do any work other days, but when you break it down that way to help you get through the work week, that's what I said when I was a teller. I was like, Tuesday is really the only real day. But when I was a teller, I worked Saturday, so that kind of defeated that purpose there. But like I said, we're gonna switch over to a new title so I can drop content more frequently. I guess I can drop Wealth Wednesday whenever I want to, but my OCD is not gonna let me do that. All right, student loans. Look, we still waiting. I think student loans might be something that we get more back into next year as these payments start to kick in. But Mohila had an issue, so payments had to stop. So I think it's going to be probably might be another 6 months before we got some true information on what the student loan restart as far as the payments, not what, but how they're impacting Americans. All right. And last but not least, don't sue me, sue your mama. This is for entertainment purposes only. Myself, nor Jordan, or fitness or finance professionals. Everything you hear on here is for entertainment purposes only. You need to seek a professional and do your own research before taking any action. And I said, last but not least, my information as well as my co-host Jordan information can be found in the show notes. Like I said, one day, maybe when I start the new title for this, the new series for this, I'll pin the comment. Maybe that makes more sense. All right, but my information, as well as my co-host Jordan information, can be found in the description. I'm silent Cory, and Jordan is Stop Stall and J for socials. And then Jordan's business page is FinallyFit.live, where you can sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday virtual training sessions, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Credit card versus buy now, pay later. We're technically going to CNBC, but we're going to CNBC Make It. So this is like the same thing as CNBC. It's just something extra that they have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. This is going to be another short episode. The articles haven't been as long, which is one of the reasons too. I'm like, I definitely need to, find something else. Let me see how that looks. All right, cool. Here we go. Why buy now, pay later options are not necessarily better than credit cards. This is by Cheyenne Devon. This is published Friday, November 24th, and updated Monday, November 27th. All right, here we go. Look at this. Look at this lady. She's using her credit. That's like the Apple Card. Is she what is she using? That's just a fake card. What is she buying? Y'all think she's going into debt? Got them books in the background, sitting on the couch. That couch does not look super comfortable. Anyways, between Black Friday deals and Americans' collective credit card debt reaching more than 1 trillion. So is credit card debt, student loan debt, and car loans and mortgages all the 4 major forms of debt over 1 trillion? Yep, car debt is 1.5. My goodness. Everything is over 1 trillion. Shout out to the debt. All right, you may be looking for alternative payment methods this holiday shopping season, including buy now, pay later plans. Before we even get started, again, I don't read these articles ahead of time. Buy now, pay later is the same thing as credit cards. It's the same thing. It's debt. Yes, they say, hey, I'm not well versed in buy now pay later because I don't use it, never use it. I don't care to look into it, but they do give you option. Like say something $100, and Klarna will be like, or Afterpay, hey, you can give us 4 payments of $25 by a particular time, and if you do that, you won't charge it. We won't charge you any interest. The issue with that is that now it's becoming to the point where you can use Afterpay on like everything. Like I've seen stuff where it's like $10 or something like that, and it's like, yeah, 4 easy payments of $2 or $3. It's like, what? So that's at first I think when it started, it was on maybe things had to be a certain amount, but now I've been seeing it where it's essentially on anything, and it's like there's no way you're at the point where you're checking out and say you're buying something on Amazon for $10, $15, and you got to bust it down into 4 easy payments. It's like, well, my goodness. Buy now, pay later options accounted for around 6.4 billion of online spending in October. My God, according to Adobe Analytics. But while they may offer, wait, hold on, did I say 1 trillion? Yeah, everything's over 1 trillion on the day. I feel like I might have said billion. But while they may offer other attractive benefits such as interest-free payments, as I mentioned, they aren't necessarily better or safer than using a credit card. Other benefit too is that when you use buy now, pay later, you just get quote unquote approved right then and there. It's just an option you don't need to get approved for, like you may need to sometimes with the credit card or other forms of debt. They just allow you to use it right then and there. And I know that I can't wait to see if they have the interest rates on here, but I know the interest rates are egregious. They are insane. They're out of control. BNPL is still debt. Buy now, pay later. Look at so many acronyms. Ted Rossman, Bankrate senior industry analyst, tells CNBC, make it. And sometimes these plans encourage people to overspend. Yes, we don't probably have the data yet, but you spend, as far as the way your brain works, the least amount of money with cash. Then second is your debit card. Third is your credit card. 3 major form of payments. Going to be interesting to see if buy now, pay later, you spend even more money with buy now, pay later versus credit cards. All right. Buy now, pay later payment options essentially allow you to take out a micro loan. Goodness gracious, new terms for everything now. To make a purchase, then pay back that loan in installments. Instead of charging $100 to your credit card at once, you might pay a BNPL provider $25 a week over 6 weeks, for instance. Wait, $25 over 6 weeks? That's $150. That's what I'm reading. It should be $25 over 4 weeks, right? So I pay $100 for my $100 item. While that may seem like a deal, if you're still using multiple buy now, pay later payment plans, the payments can really add up. It's debt. I mean, goodness gracious. People don't have money, then the first thing they want to do is take out debt and add another payment to their budget. It makes no sense. If you're choosing between using a credit card or buy now, pay later option, here's how to decide which is right for you. I would decide for everybody. Don't use either. Do not use either. Buy now, pay later plans versus credit cards. When deciding between a buy now, pay later plan or a credit card, one major deciding factor is how quickly you'll be able to pay off what you're buying. Jesus. If you need just a little bit of extra time to pay off your purchase, a typical pay-in for BNPL loan can be great because it gives you additional few weeks to pay your purchase off, typically interest-free. And this is Matt Schultz, Lending Tree Chief Credit Analyst, tells CNBC Make It. See, why don't people just, and this is where it gets confusing, why don't you just save up? Especially for this is talking about, I guess, generally, the holiday season type of purchases. But it's always confusing when people decide not to save up ahead of time for purchases that they know they're going to make or are coming down the pipe. It's one thing with credit cards, right? You might have, medical debt, something else, flat tire, anything like that. Even though I don't consider a flat tire an emergency. Something might just pop up, quote unquote, unexpectedly. But buy now, pay later, you are intentionally deciding to buy something. I'm not aware that you can do buy now, pay later on essentially anything outside of online purchases. I'm not aware that, you can go to the store. Like you can't go to Walmart and instead of putting on your credit card, you can put it on your buy now, pay later. Although you can, are we going to see this one day? You can obviously go to Walmart's website or their app and probably use buy now, pay later, or whoever. I don't say Walmart here, but whatever store, and you probably use it online. But I'm not aware that you're able to actually use buy now, pay later in the store. We probably might be end up seeing that one day. When that happens, it's going to go out the roof. Shout out. Well, people still need, their EBT and things like that. Regardless, all right, these plans can provide a built-in light at the end of the tunnel. Debt never provides a built-in light at the end of the tunnel. We know, right? The fact that buy now, pay laters are putting consumers in a situation where they can, if they make the payments right in a certain amount of time, they will have to pay no interest. That already exists. It already exists where you get, if you're buying furniture, they'll have that option. Or when you do a balance transfer on a credit card, let's say 0% interest for 12 months or whatever the deal is. Having no interest on quote unquote debt or payments, however you want to look at this from a terminology standpoint, is not new. Buy now, pay later is just the new age from a technology standpoint way. The Afterpay and Klarna, I believe those are the top two, have found a way, to enter the market. Shout out to them from a business standpoint, right? Hey, they're making their money. But the fact that you can put something on payments and pay no interest is not a new concept in our society or economy. All right. You'll typically know, since you pay in installments, you'll typically know exactly when you'll be finished paying off your purchase. Man, what, Rossman? These plans can provide a built-in light at the end of the tunnel. That's quotes. Built-in light at the end of the tunnel is in quotes. Says Rossman. Since you pay in installments, you'll typically know exactly when you'll be finished paying off your purchase. Why don't you just pay for it cash right then and there? I can tell you, you know exactly when you're going to pay it off if you just pay it off in cash right then and there, instead of sitting here and waiting, the example they first gave was, instead of charging $100 to your credit card, use the BNPL, buy now, pay later provider, and do $25 a week over 6 weeks. Is this saying you're going to pay $25 a week over 6 weeks? Like each week up to 6 weeks? Let me pull the calculator. Is 25 times 6 not 150? No, the calculator says 150. That's where I get confused. And they actually went more in depth and talked about the 4-week option, which makes more sense, divided down to 4 or divided by 4, but whatever, man. With credit cards, you'll need to take a more proactive approach to pay down your debt. True, because interest is going to start right then and there. However, if you think you're going to need more time, a credit card might be a better choice because it gives you the flexibility of being able to choose how much you want to pay each month, assuming you hit the minimum. See, credit cards do not give you the option to choose how much you want to pay each month, right? Because there's a minimum payment. So they don't give you the option, right? So they're saying credit cards give you a choice on how much you can pay each month. As long as you hit the minimum, then whatever's over the minimum. So the minimum is $25. You have to pay at least $25 and then some, for the sake of this example. In most cases, if you're sitting here and you're deciding between credit card or BNPL, if you're like deciding between those two, you don't need to make the purchase. Like if there was ever a situation to say, hey, am I down bad financially? It's if you're sitting here and deciding whether or not you need to accrue more credit card debt or take the BNPL option. This would be a great marker, to figure out. Talking about financial freedom, financial stability, all these different type of, financial terms for how you're doing financially. If you're down bad financially, it's deciding between credit card versus buy now, pay later. This would be a great pulse check. Ultimately, Schultz and Rossman agree that credit cards are usually the way to go as long as you're able to pay off your balance in full and avoid potentially costly interest. When used responsibly, credit cards can help boost your credit score and come with rewards that can be used to earn cash back or points for travel. They offer a host of protections such as fraud protection and extended warranties. Here's the issue. People who are going to be paying off their credit card at the end of every month, so essentially they accrue no interest, these are not the people that we're talking about who are deciding to use buy now, pay later. The people who are deciding between using their credit card or buy now, pay later likely already have their credit card maxed out. Okay, because in most instances, let's just say for this example, you're probably going to have $100, right? Like I say, the math is so funny. So people usually get paid every 2 weeks or twice a month, however you want to look at it. Let's say you're going to pay off this $100, 25 payments over 4 weeks. You have to have $50. I mean, you have to have $25. My guess is maybe it starts the next week. But you have to have the money in the time that you're signing up for this Afterpay or Klarna or whatever BNPL it is. It's likely that if you use your credit card, you're going to be in the same situation. The issue, and I've already said this before. I need to get a soundboard. I've already said this before. The issue is that if you already have an outstanding balance on your credit card, when you add a purchase onto it and you don't end up paying your credit card off in full, even if let's say for this example, you pay off that $100 purchase that you made, you still get quote unquote charged $100. Charge interest on that $100 plus whatever the outstanding balance is, because in the situation for this Afterpay or Klarna or whatever it is, you are paying off whatever you've taken out for the BNPL. You don't technically pay off whatever item you purchase on your credit card, even if you put that money towards your credit card and there's still an outstanding balance. You just reduce your balance by however much you put on there, and thus you get charged less interest or whatever interest you're going to get charged based off of what's outstanding on the credit card. So that situation right there was saying, hey, BNPL can be in your favor. But for people who, like I said, are paying off their credit card every month, BNPL is not an option. It is not an option. If you don't have any outstanding credit card debt, for people who are using credit cards, why are you even looking at BNPL? When I just look at it now when I'm checking out, and I'm just like, dang, I can break this down to how many payments? Especially when I've seen stuff that like $2 or $3 payment options. I'm like, no, that's getting out of control. But here, when it's saying like, you get increase your credit score, right? Because to my knowledge, BNPL they don't pull your credit, or it's not technically credit or debt, however you want to look at it. So it's likely not going to impact your credit score at all, as far from a future standpoint. Yes, you get rewards with credit cards, but again, cashback, travel points, whatever it is. Again, for people who are maximizing credit cards to their benefit, who that community out there, they're not looking at the buy now pay later. So the people who truly benefit from cashback points, things like that on your credit card, are not the same people who are looking to use the buy now, pay later option. All right. And my guess is, I mean, I don't know exactly what type of protections a buy now, pay later would offer, but my guess is there's going to be some type of fraudulent protection, things like that. I'm not aware if you can use it on sites like, eBay or PayPal, but excuse me, if you use buy now, pay later, like on a big, a big company like Walmart or Amazon, things like that, I mean, you had the general protections. My assumption is provided by that company. All right, as we get to the end, the right credit card used wisely can make a major difference for your bottom line, Schultz says. Rewards can extend the holiday budget, and consumer protections mean that if something arrives broken or needs to be returned, it won't be a big headache. That makes sense. It may be more complicated to return something using buy now, pay later, since you technically, it's not like your credit. When you use credit, let me see here, look this lady. When you use credit, the item is paid for in full. I'm not aware of when you use these buy now, pay later services of technically, I mean, the item is paid in full. That's why they send it to you, but you still, quote unquote, have this outstanding debt that you still need to make payments on. It's very interesting, right? There's no collateral, I believe, right? They can't take your item. It'd be insane if they could take your item. I think we should have more secure debt. I think something like, everything, the student loans, things like that, everything, all these credit cards, if there was a way where, let's say for student loans, where, hey, if you stop making your payment, I know there's all this forbearance and things like that, deferment, but if you reach a point where you stop making your payment, what if they could take your degree? And since they took your degree, you might be in a situation where you lose your job because you need your job and your degree to have your job. Like, what if they were able to do things? I mean, they can do that. They choose not to. But what if they had things like that set up to where more stuff were secure in the sense of, hey, you're using debt to buy this item. Okay, if you don't pay off the debt based off the terms and agreements that you signed up for or agreed to, you're in risk of losing this item, just like right for your mortgage, for a car loan, things like that. They're gonna come and repossess your stuff. All right. That'd be something. Because I mean, if we ever needed a reckoning, it's getting crazy out here. Crime is going out the roof, debt is out the roof. 1 trillion in credit card debt, over $1.5 trillion, and car loans, almost probably what, 2 trillion, and student loan debt. I don't know what the mortgage debt is probably. Let me see what total mortgage debt is. It's got to be over. Total mortgage debt is 12.14 trillion. Latest mortgage statistics in 2024. We're not even in 2024 yet, but the debt is out of control. All right, so I mean, we need something, to pin this down. But again, why buy now, pay later options aren't necessarily better than credit cards. Again, this is by Cheyenne Devon on CNBC. Make it. All right, y'all. Locked and loaded. End of the episode. Again, most people who are in a situation where they're deciding between credit cards or buy now, pay later, they are already struggling financially. The consumers, which aren't a lot in America, based off the numbers that we have, and we'll be going over these numbers beginning of next year because bank rates going to probably drop. That new stuff as far as, how many people have $1,000 or $400, things like that. But people who are deciding, if you're deciding between buy now, pay later or a credit card, you likely already have too much on your credit card, right? And so what you don't want to do is, all you can do is like make your credit card minimum payment, right? And for whatever reason, instead of just dropping, you have the $100, but you just want to break the 100 over into $25 over 4 weeks for whatever reason. That's your money mindset. That's how you want to look at things. But just pay it off right then and there. There's no reason to have anything happen from a life standpoint and put you in a situation where now you essentially have more debt because of this afterpay or car or whatever it is, buy now pay later. Let me see how much it is. The average credit, average BNPL interest. All right, they're saying they come with 9 to 10% rate. This is Rossman again. One of the nicest things you can say is that the 10% rate is that it's not 20%. Thanks, genius statement. So when I say not that bad, it's not credit card, right? But since it's not tied to credit, I don't know if you sign up for accounts and things like that. Again, I'm not well versed in the buy now pay later, but if you're in a situation where I'm sure you don't have an account, you can just keep asking these companies for money, up to a certain point. You essentially all it is another credit card, right? Essentially with a lower interest rate, half the interest rate. That's all it really is. But you can only use it at essentially on online service providers. Don't do it, y'all. If you're in a situation, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it, but don't do the buy now pay later option. Just pay cash for your stuff. Okay, mortgage debt is one thing, but when we talk about consumer debt, do everything you can to put yourself in a position where you can pay cash for things, especially now when it's holiday season, Christmas is coming up. If you don't have the money for it, just don't buy it. If you're in a situation where it's going to impact you relationally, whether or not you do or don't give somebody a gift or a certain price tag on a gift, terminate the relationship. Y'all can't do stuff. Stuff is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Shout out to inflation. The prices of things are going to continue to go up year over year over year. That's how inflation works. And if you're in a situation where you just don't have the money, that's okay. All right, your relationship with people should not be tied to how much money you spend on them, especially if you don't have the money. That's simple. All right. But again, locked and loaded, end of the episode. Make sure y'all comment, like, share, and subscribe. Leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. Again, my information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found in the description. I'm Silence with Cory for financial information, and Jordan stops Saul and Jay for the fitness information. And his business page is FinallyFit.live, where you can sign up for the 5:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday virtual training sessions. 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday and Wednesday virtual training sessions. All right. Again, probably got one or two more of these Wealth Wednesdays. I think I'm going to do a live stream again. I got a kid now, so I got to make sure I can, do these things. So he's not in the background screaming, which he doesn't do a lot, but gonna do the end of the year / 2024, recap as far as what we got for 401k increase, the IRA increase, the tax brackets. I haven't even looked at the tax brackets yet. That's why I'm so excited to this episode, because I heard the tax brackets, had a pretty nice increase. That's what I've been told. I haven't seen them yet though, and I've been dodging it every time I see it pop up on my timeline because I like to look at stuff that I can for the first time on here so you guys can get, my true reaction and things like that and my thoughts on it. But we're going to get into that here in a couple of weeks. And I saw something, and this is why we gotta get a new title. Shout out to Wealth Wednesdays, love Wealth Wednesdays. But I saw something where 93% of Americans regret their home purchase. That's gonna be the next episode. I might just have to do that in a day or two, because what happened? Some people was out here buying houses before looking at them, not getting an inspection. It was crazy. 93%, by the way, is all, but we're gonna get into that when we do that article on the next episode. All right. Again, y'all, any questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to us. All right. So remember to save more, say less, keep making better your best, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.